So how's it going, guys? Today we're going to be talking about our boy Madara Uchiha, and he's going to be fighting against every single Hokage. And for today's video, we have once more Lightning Snow. Please introduce yourself.
What's going on, guys? Glad to be back for another one.
So for this video, obviously the Hokage have a lot of different power levels, so we're going to be picking a more appropriate version to make it a fair fight when it comes to Madara, and then we're going to see which version is going to be the toughest one against Hokage and which one is the cutoff. And I think that's, in terms of Madara versions, the one that's easier to determine as the weakest, at least that we've seen fighting, is probably going to be blind, no eyes Madara without Sage Mode, the one who was just revived in the War Arc. I think that's the weakest version. What do you think?
If we're not counting the kids in the kids version, then or teenage Madara, then yeah, absolutely. He had feats and whatnot, but again, like you said, he's blind, and it's one of those things where you don't really know if he can really use his Susanoo, but even though he shouldn't, even though he does, but still, but anyway, he goes he gets revived, and he's like, he blitz Naruto and Sasuke like right out the get go. So
yeah, he blitzes Sage Mode Naruto and Sai, and then he just gets Sage Mode from Hashirama. But I think it's safe to assume that he can use his basic Susanoo form, like he used it against the Tail Beasts, but not the perfect Susanoo.
Right.
And when it comes to MS Madara or teenage Madara or even kid Madara, we don't even see him fighting at all. So that's why I don't feel like it's a very good point of comparison, but maybe we can speculate about them as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So starting off with the first Hokage, Senju Hashirama, which is probably going to be the easiest one because we literally saw those characters fight quite many times in the series. So what do you have to say about that one, Lightning Snow?
I think most opponents in the series, like people who go at each other often, like they're the ones that we've actually seen more, like we've seen more fights with them like on screen than we've seen Naruto and Sasuke on screen. I feel like, you know what I'm saying, like through the filler arcs and the actual like canon and whatnot. So
also OVAs and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think we see more of their fights than we've actually seen Naruto and Sasuke fight. I think in terms of this one, I feel as though Hashirama would, I don't know. I want to say, because I mean Madara's, I don't want to sleep with Madara, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't know. I'd almost say it to be a stalemate, but depending on what kind of version of Hashirama we're using though. Like,
well, if we take a look at the Valley of the End fight, it's EMS Madara with the Nine Tails, and they pretty much tie. It's just in the very end that Hashirama clutches the victory.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Madara actually lost the Nine Tails pretty early on in the fight, so they were actually fighting head-to-head, Madara with just his EMS against Hashirama's hacks and stuff. So Hashirama in that version is probably slightly stronger than Madara. And then when you go to the War Arc, we have an Edo Tensei Hashirama, which is implied to be slightly stronger than his alive version because he can actually use the deity gates that he uses to not seal, but just impair the movements of the Ten Tails. And that Edo Hashirama stalemates Edo Madara with a Rinnegan. So I think it's safe to say that Hashirama is slightly stronger, those versions at least. But when you move on to revived Madara with one Rinnegan, then I think things really change, because what can Hashirama do against a Limbo clone, really?
Yeah, well, and not even that, like it's also like, I mean, when you're talking about like Madara, who has, say, like the Rinnegan, the Limbo clone, and then if Madara so happened to or so wanted to, like he could just start using the Rinnegan abilities, and he's got like almost infinite chakra even if he's alive. And it is so crazy like how much of a threat Madara could be with just one Rinnegan, even if he isn't in Jubi state. And so I feel like you said, the scales tip a lot more in Madara's favor once he gets the Rinnegan.
Yeah, and after that, I believe it's pretty much it. There is nothing more Hashirama can do against stronger versions of Madara. Like if you include the Ten Tails, Jinchuriki state, Hashirama literally states that he is weaker than Juubito, which is much weaker than Juubidara. So I don't think there is any argument to have in that particular situation.
Nope, the god of Shinobi literally just gave his hats off. I'm like, yep, you're good. This man, I cannot beat this man.
Yep, that's pretty much it. Alright, let's move on to Tobirama, I guess, because Hashirama, as I said before, pretty straightforward. What do you think about Tobirama?
So if we're going off the weaker, at the weakest version, Madara, I mean, we almost kind of saw that. It's one of the, again, if he gets Sage Mode, it's really tough because he just avoided a blitz from Tobirama like it was nothing, right? And like I said, this is a guy who just came back to life, and like we said earlier, just speed blitzed the two main characters, and like within no time at all, he literally had them both on death's door within a matter of an hour, not even less than 30 minutes. And so like this,
probably less than that in universe, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like I was actually being more fair to Naruto and Sasuke, kind of giving them a little bit of slack. But yeah, like he just came back to life and like just no diffed him, and he literally just no diffed Tobirama at the exact same time. So
yeah, but to be fair, that version of him is actually one of the stronger versions when it comes to non-10 tails in Shuriki Madara. And yeah, that version completely obliterates Tobirama. We saw that on screen. He literally off-screened Tobirama. We didn't even see how the fight ends up because it's just such a big stomp.
Honestly,
what do you think would be a more appropriate version for Madara to fight against Tobirama? I think MS Madara, like without his EMS, or maybe even EMS Madara without the 9 tails, would probably be more fair.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, I think MS would probably be more likely because if we're counting EMS as being able to use the perfect Susanoo, then I can't really see Tobirama maybe. Like I think I may have done a video on this a long time ago where I said the only way that like Tobirama could get the win against EMS Madara if he decided to throw up his perfect Susanoo would be that if Tobirama was able to mark Madara at any time before then, and that way once he throws up the Susanoo, he could like teleport in that little
inside the Susanoo.
Yeah,
that's an interesting theory to think about. Even though Madara was able to dodge a flying Raijin cut from Tobirama in the war, and that Madara had Sage Mode.
Yeah.
So there's that. But even still, I think it's a very tough fight for.
That's what I was gonna say. Like I feel like that was the only thing I could have gave him against EMS. Like MS, like you said, I think is like the more appropriate scaling for Tobirama. Yeah. The one that I feel like he does the best against.
The problem is that we just don't know like his powers. We don't even know his main Mangekyou Sharingan abilities. That we've never really seen them in the story, which is a shame. But even still,
there's that OVA in the game where like someone tried to make a point where it's like his like he can rewind like 3 seconds or something like that. I'm like, bro, imagine if that really was his ability.
Yeah, there's just no way this is his ability because otherwise, I mean, first of all, he wouldn't be killed or backstabbed by Setsu, and I mean, this is way too OP. To be
I'm gonna say that'd be like Obito's Kamui. That'd just be so broken. It'd be ridiculous.
I think it would be more broken than that. Like, what can you do against it? As long as he has chakra, you can't really do anything.
Exactly. like I mean, it's unstoppable. Well, okay, depending on who the user is, and we're talking about Madara here. Yeah, he's nigh unstoppable. That kind of.
Unless you come up with a lot of limitations for it, which I mean, we don't see very much of that ability in the OVA, so we just can't know for certain.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tobirama has a really tough time against Madara. Any version of him, I think we could maybe say he has a tough match against blind Madara without Sage Mode. But even still, like he was able to sense Naruto and Sai, and he blitzed them pretty handily.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think he would be able to combat Tobirama in that state. And even if Tobirama hits Madara with a kunai slash or something like that, Madara still has Hashirama cells to regenerate him. So it's a tough problem for him.
It is. And like the best case we could have given is like maybe a live MS Madara in the warring state.
Like freshly awakened.
Yeah, because I mean him and Izuno are comparable, I guess. They're said to be on the same level or like around the same level, and Tobirama was able to outsmart and blitz Izuna. And so if we give Tobirama that slack, then yeah, I think totally possible. Like he could get the kill against that Madara. But if we're talking like fourth war, any fourth war Madara, then yeah, it's nothing for Tobirama.
It's gonna be very tough. Well, let's move on to Hiruzen Sarutobi, I suppose, the third Hokage. And I mean, I don't think we have to delay ourselves too much in this particular situation here. I don't think Hiruzen has much of a chance against any version of Madara we can pinpoint the powers of.
Well, unfortunately,
what do you think about it?
I'm assuming we're going to go with old here. Can't.
I mean, even if we consider a hypothetical prime Hiruzen, I don't really see much he could do against Madara, to be fair. Like, is he gonna use 5 elemental transformations against Madara? Well, I think a Susanoo is more than enough to tank anything he throws against Madara, to be fair.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I just feel like I always want to say that like Prime here does a pretty good job against most opponents that are excluding the 6-path arena.
The god tier opponents.
Yeah,
I guess if you highball him and if you say he could create a comparable amount of shadow clones to Naruto, maybe. But even still, we don't know exactly how powerful he was in Madara. We know pretty much what he could do, at least in the EMS state.
I want to say that he probably performed better than Tobirama, but then I don't. It's one of the things like Tobirama's.
He has hacks.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Hiruzen doesn't really have hacks.
Yeah, not that we know of anyway. As I said, maybe in his prime he has a lot more chakra than we're aware of, but we just can't say for certain. And
he definitely had more chakra than he was old, but still, I don't even think he would be able to Reaper Death Seal Madara. Even if he managed to catch Madara and use use the jutsu on him, Madara would be able to resist him just like Orochimaru was. Because Orochimaru is far weaker than Madara. And yes, Hiruzen couldn't take his soul away because he was old. But the difference between Madara and Orochimaru makes up for Hiruzen's age difference, I would
was just going to say that too, because it's like, and the thing is like, if we're taking the translation in the manga or in the anime, grew up watching the anime first, so how I interpreted it was Orochimaru said you might have succeeded if you were 10 years younger, implying that even if he was 10 years younger, there's no guarantee he would have done it. So yeah, saying that he'd be able to Reaper Death Seal Madara, even in his prime, it's arguable, and I would be more on the side of he probably wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, Madara probably doesn't lose to any particular version.
He'd probably just look at Hiruzen and be like, bro, what are you doing?
I mean, maybe if we highball Hiruzen saying he can create 1,000 shadow clones using Genma and a lot of different jutsus, because technically he knows every single jutsu in the Leaf Village according to statements. But
that's why I was saying, like, I always want to try to highball Hiruzen because of or prime Hiruzen at least. Like, obviously, if this is old Hiruzen, he's getting curb stomped like it's nothing. But like, but I always want to give it to prime Hiruzen a lot more credit than I feel like most people do, because you do have people in the comments, and no disrespect to anybody, but I do often get those comments whenever I try to bring up a hypothetical Hiruzen, like, bro, you can't talk about prime Hiruzen because you don't know. I'm like, yeah, I get it, but I mean, I try.
It's fun to speculate at least.
Yeah, like I always want to try to give it to Hiruzen, you know what I'm saying? But
like there has to be a reason why Tobirama looked at Hiruzen when he was like, what, 18 or 20, when Tobirama was about to fight against the Ginkaku squad and die, and he said, you're gonna be the next Hokage, even though you are really young.
Yeah.
He had to be pretty powerful, because the Kage that were around in that particular time, they were strong. Mu, you have Gengetsu for Mizukage, like, they were pretty crazy.
Well, not even that. If you take it a step further, like in part 1, when Hiruzen's fighting Orochimaru, he had that flashback to Hashirama and Tobirama when he was like a little kid. And I don't know, I never really understood like this scene. I know this is getting off topic, but I never really understood this scene about like them talking to Hiruzen, like, you know, like as a kid, they're both saying like, starting tomorrow, you are Hokage. I'm like, the man's 8 years old. What are you talking about?
Maybe he was delusional. He was pretty old at that time, so
yeah.
Who knows?
But yeah, so I for them to look at Hiruzen even at that age and be like, bro, this kid's got potential. You know, I think it's saying something. But at the end of the day, I think Madara is way too tough. I think the only version of Madara that we could pit Hiruzen up against is, like we said with Tobirama, probably just a live, fresh MS.
Yeah.
And a hypothetical battle, I think so.
I don't think anybody's going to be mad at this particular scenario here.
No.
We say Hiruzen doesn't have much of a chance. But now, moving on to Minato, the 4th Hokage, I think things get a little bit more interesting, because I think we can just use Minato's strongest version here to begin with, at least, which is going to be Edo Tensei with the 9 tails, or half of it inside of him. He has access to the Kurama avatar, even though he has much less proficiency than Naruto does. It's still a pretty decent buff to him.
Oh, for sure.
And I think we could even throw EMS Madara against this Minato. Could be an interesting fight, or even Edo Madara. What do you think?
I think Edo Madara at first, because I mean, it's Edo versus Edo. I think it's a little bit, because we got to think that'd be all kinds of crazy. I mean, they would just be relentless, because at this point, Madara doesn't really have anything that would really be able to nullify Edo Tensei.
I guess we can assume he'll have a sealing jutsu, and if not, he can extract Minato's soul with his Rinnegan.
That is true.
Would have a way, I would say. And I think it's also fair to say that Minato would also have a sealing jutsu that would be able to just counter the Edo Tensei immortality, because he trained with Kushina and Uzumaki for a while. So I guess we can run with that assumption. Still, it's an interesting fight, because Minato is definitely faster than Madara in this particular scenario here, with KCM2 especially.
Yeah.
But Madara, I don't see him getting blitzed by him. I think he can definitely react to what Minato will do. Because, I mean, Juubidara was reacting to him, and then after a couple of chapters, we see Tobirama blitzing him from behind when Naruto landed Rasengan, and then a live Madara with a Rinnegan was able to react to that Tobirama. So I think it's pretty safe to say that around the same ballpark. Maybe not in terms of speed, but in terms of reaction time.
Oh, for sure. And because going off of what I was saying earlier about, because like you mentioned the soul stealing, I want to say that Madara might be able to pull that off, but I feel like, you know, if there's there's been so many cases where Minato's like slipped away from stuff like that. Like, case in point, when
It would be difficult.
I was
no doubt about it.
But Obito was like inches away from him, trying to like suck him into combo, and he got away like it was nothing. And so I think it's so weird because we have to cover this because it's like one of the few ways that an Edo Tensei fight would conclude is either sealing them away with the sealing ninjutsu or stealing their soul. And like when it comes to stealing their soul, or Minato's like specifically, I don't think it's gonna work. Conversely, I don't see Minato being able to really steal Madara's soul with the Reaper Death Seal. Like I think.
Oh no, that's even more difficult. I would say it requires more prep time. It's tougher to do than just the Rinnegan human path.
Yeah.
And even still, like the problem I see with Minato here is that his damage is not exactly the greatest when it comes to just like trying to destroy Madara's Edo Tensei, because the primary strategy would probably be to completely obliterate the Edo Tensei, and as the Edo Tensei is reforming, you probably want to seal it before you can just regain your consciousness or whatever. And Minato has the Rasengan. He never uses the Bijudama in his KCM state, and he has a pretty large Rasengan with the Avatar when he combines it with Naruto, but like a perfect Susanoo is not even going to be cracked by that, I get the feeling.
Yeah, and this is weird because when the Minato one-shot manga came out, it kind of perpetuated Minato into a different kind of scale. If they take that seriously, and I'm kind of indecisive about how I take that one-shot manga, because it seems like it's something that shouldn't be possible, but I mean, I guess it is written in canon, so it's like...
You are most likely talking about the Rasengan versus Bijudama feat. But you have to take that with a grain of salt, because it didn't happen in the real world. It happened inside of Kushina's Kurama realm, which I have to assume different rules apply there. It's literally inside Kushina's body. Minato had her help, so I wouldn't say a base Rasengan from Kid Minato would be more powerful than a Bijudama in normal circumstances, but still, it's very impressive.
I know it is. I just like that's why I'm always indecisive about it, because I just don't know. It's like one of those things I don't know how to compare, that realm with the real world when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I do think that Minato puts up a decent fight in terms of prolonging the fight, but how slippery he is and how meticulous he can be. At the end of the day, though, I think with as far as Edo versus Edo, like Madara is just gonna have so many things up his sleeve. Like Minato doesn't. And
he can create a lot of wood clones, create Susanos with them, and he has a lot of variety.
Well, and that's the thing is like if it comes to Edo versus Edo, then like it's gonna be, I guess, a stalemate, because like if we highball Minato a little bit, we can say that like Madara, like he's so slippery that Madara wouldn't be able to get the kill, but conversely, like Minato couldn't damage Madara either, so like he doesn't get the win. So I mean,
you can't forget that Edo Madara can absorb ninjutsu too, so like what's Minato gonna do? I think Madara has the edge here, but I can definitely see a scenario that the fight just lasts forever, which will be fair to see. But even if that happens, like if the fight lasts for days and days, I think Madara still has the edge because he has more variety, and he could eventually come up with something that would catch Minato.
Now, what about alive Madara versus alive Minato? Like, what are you thinking?
With or without the Nine Tails, I guess it doesn't really matter all that much, because Minato can mostly just fly away from the Nine Tails' attacks. Also, the perfect Susanoo, when you're talking about this fights, when Minato doesn't have a Kurama avatar to like fight it head on, he wouldn't try to challenge the perfect Susanoo.
I would have to give my boy major props if he did. I mean, like... Yeah. So, I mean, what about MS Madara then? I mean, just MS without the Nine Tails? I think,
MS Madara without the Nine Tails, I think Minato takes it. Even if he has a hard time damaging Madara, he can still probably run him out of chakra just by escaping his attacks, because MS is gonna feel pain when he uses his MS abilities. It's a different fight completely.
True.
I think Hokage Minato in his prime can take a hypothetical MS Madara, but other than that, even like blind Madara, I think it would be difficult for him because he has Hashirama cells, and his most powerful jutsu is a Rasengan, which didn't do much against Obito when he landed one. I mean, it cut one arm off, but Obito was kind of fine after that.
Yeah, I mean, Obito did retreat, and it's one of those things where it's like, I mean,
He won the fight. Minato definitely won the fight.
Yeah, but I say, he would not have been able to win. Like, Obito would not have won that fight if he continued, but like you said, Obito wasn't like worried, I guess, in a way. He wasn't like, oh crap, my arm. Like, he was just like, all right, well, I'm peacing out. So, I mean, mean,
and then
good.
Madara can regenerate from attacks with the Hashirama cells. It would be kind of difficult for Minato to probably do anything against him, but maybe. I mean, Minato's pretty fast. If he is able to catch him off guard or even blitz him from all sides because he doesn't have eyes, even though he can sense things really well, Madara could probably lose in a hypothetical fight here, but I still think it's tough for Minato.
I think more
win.
often than not, like, Madara probably would be able to react to most of Minato's attacks. If, again, I know Tobirama blatantly said that Minato's better than him at Flying Raijin, but I don't think they're too far in between each other. If I had to be, in my personal opinion, I think they're relative still in speed, with Minato obviously having the edge. But I can see, like, at a certain point, Madara just being used to, like, if Madara is, not killed at this point, assuming Madara being used to Minato's combat and learning how Minato kind of fights while the fight's going on, and then eventually just kind of like, one-upping Minato in the fight.
And Madara will know what the Flying Raijin is about. I mean, he's been fighting against Tobirama for a while.
Yeah.
He knows the Flying Raijin. Yes, Minato is better than Tobirama at it, but it's the same principle. You teleport to where your mark is.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, so Madara is going to be pretty aware of how he fights, I feel like. So
yeah, it would be difficult for Minato. I'll give the edge to Madara here in this hypothetical fight against
still a good fight,
an
though.
eyeless Madara. Yeah, it'll be a good fight.
Yeah.
He has the Susanoo too, which doesn't help Minato's case.
No, it does not. But I think, in fairness to Minato, I think he'd be able to, like, if Madara just chose to use the ribcage, I would want to say that Minato could probably break through that one. But when it comes to, like, maybe his, humanoid Susanoo,
I'm not even sure if he breaks through the ribcage, because Madara's ribcage was tanking a Rasengan from Sage Mode Naruto, and it was a much larger Rasengan than anything Minato has ever produced.
Yeah.
Except for his Kurama Avatar Rasengan.
Yeah. Maybe a slight boost for if Minato had Sage Mode. Maybe it's possible, but I don't know. I know Minato's not that great at using Sage Mode, but I mean,
yeah.
I always try to give my boy something.
Yeah, but yeah, Madara overall has a big advantage here, but I think the most interesting fight is definitely going to be Minato versus Edo Madara, which would be just very cool to see.
Yeah.
But I'll still see Madara taking the advantage most often.
Oh,
and
sure, yeah.
other versions, I mean, Limbo clone Madara with one Rinnegan, and obviously the Ten-tailed Jinchuriki Madara versions, there's nothing Minato can do about them.
No, I think people underestimate Minato's intelligence. It'd be one of those things where I feel like it'd be kind of cool to see how Minato reacts to stuff like that, and try to think of ways like how. Obviously, I don't think he'd be able to do much, but I still think that, like, it'd be cool to see that how Minato does as far as, like, figuring stuff out.
Yeah, it would be cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty much Minato versus
Minato.
Madara. Moving on to Tsunade versus Madara. I mean, we kind of saw that. Edo Madara versus the 5 Kage, and Tsunade was included there. Madara was toying with them the entire way. Tsunade was important for the fight because she was keeping the 5 Kage fresh and healing them up, but, like, I mean, what can she do?
I mean,
even if we pick MS Madara back in the day, I don't think there's anything Tsunade can do against him.
No, I mean, because I will say on Tsunade's end, she did, she was able to make Madara retract his statement earlier on in their fight, where Madara was kind of roasting Tsunade, calling her a weak woman, and then later on, like a few minutes later, she's like, "Okay, you're definitely not a weak woman. You got something packing." But so that, I think that's something in itself. But like you said, I think even MS Madara kind of gives her a really difficult time. Now, I will say, without the Ninetales MS Madara, I do feel like she does put up a better fight than most other versions, but I still do see her going down.
The problem is that Tsunade, she's going to struggle. Like, just hitting Madara will be a problem because he has the Sharingan, he has precog. Like, she can break the Susanoo if she lands a hit, but that's not going to be enough. And it would be just smarter for Madara to avoid the blows altogether than anything else.
Well, it's one of those things where, like, if she uses 100 healings, I wonder, like, if she'd be able to outlast Madara in terms of him using his MS. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder if we're just talking about MS Madara and him being in pain as he's using his abilities, if she's able to survive long enough, then maybe, but
maybe that's her best chance. But I still don't think it's something she can rely on. And, like, if Madara is smart about it, he can just cut her head off.
That is true.
Asuma did to be done, and he'd definitely be faster than Tsunade to do that.
I mean, he did cut her in half, and that was she was alive, but she was pretty much rendered KO'd. So it's
If Madara had actually bothered to check his skills, to double tap the 5 Kage, there's nothing they could have done.
Nope, nothing they could have done. Honest to God, I'm surprised. It was just like him toying with them, like pity sparing them. Honestly, that he let them live.
Yeah, so. That's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else to say about Tsunade.
No, we can just wrap up that one.
Moving on to Hokage Kakashi, the 6th Hokage, and I'll leave that one to you because that definitely that's your speciality.
Now, I actually got someone giving me flack about this, believe it or not, a few days ago, and they were kind of getting on to me because I still feel like, in my personal opinion, that Hashirama is still stronger than Kakashi as Hokage. And they were getting on to me about how they're like that's just not true. They honestly feel like, and look, I'm the biggest Kakashi stan out there, especially like Hokage Kakashi. Like my profile picture is literally Hokage Kakashi, so I don't know how much more of a stan I can get. But when it comes to like people like that, I don't know if Kakashi really has the means to deal. Like, okay, so if I had to really be honest, I feel like the versions of Madara that Kakashi does pretty good against is MS and then maybe EMS.
Without the Nine Tails?
Without the Nine Tails. I mean, with Edo and Alive, Blind, Rinnegan, or like whatever.
Nothing much you can do about it. Because like, he doesn't have hacks anymore when he's the Hokage. That's the problem. Like he has raw damage.
Yeah.
But Madara can deal with that very well. I mean, if you're taking the Edo Tensei version, there's nothing much Kakashi can do. He can just absorb stuff with his Rinnegan.
Now,
that's
here's the thing. It's like
a big problem for him.
Someone was making the case to me because like Kakashi was able to flood almost an entire country with his performance of fire style water mist jutsu and whatnot, and like I understand that, but when it comes to versions of Madara that have the perfect Susanoo, like what is Kakashi going to be able to do? Like, I mean, he's got a jutsu, he's got purple lightning that could like be used similar to how Kirin was used and the attack power it can be used as, but I don't know if like it would necessarily be able to penetrate a perfect Susanoo. And like that's saying a lot. So because Onoki like took one look at that attack and crapped his pants. So I mean,
to be fair, he looked at Madara several times and crapped his pants as well.
Exactly.
Like.
Well, that's my point. Is like that's my point. I feel like this is coming from a man who like has seen Madara fight in action, and so I feel as though that if Hokage Kakashi can make Onoki crap his pants from a jutsu like that, then I feel like it's saying something. So I'm not knocking Kakashi's feats. I'm really not. But it comes to Madara though. Like I said, MS and then EMS, I feel like are the only versions I feel Hokage Kakashi does pretty well against.
Do you think he beats them more often than not?
MS, yes. EMS,
I think I agree with you. Yeah.
EMS, I think it's arguable. Once he gets the perfect Susanoo though, then I don't know. I really can't give him anything else.
I think it's fair. I think EMS Madara definitely has a big edge, but I think Kakashi would do well against a hypothetical MS Madara. And other than that, most of his versions have ways to deal with ninjutsu completely negating it, so it gets kind of tough for Kakashi here when he doesn't have Kamui anymore.
I mean, honestly, well, not even that. Like what's he gonna do against the Limbo clones and then the Susanoo? It's really tough.
I mean, yeah.
Like
when you talk about that, yeah, there's nothing much he can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the fights against MS and EMS Madara could be very interesting to see. But other than that, it gets tough for our boy Kakashi.
Like y'all don't get me
at least the Hokage version.
I say don't get me in the comments, y'all. Like I'm the biggest Kakashi stand out there. Like I will support my boy till the day I die. But the thing is like I don't know. I think it's generous that I'm saying that he does pretty well against MS. And because I will say that MS Madara is impressive, but he like compared to his other forms, he's not that impressive. Like, and I think he does I think he does pretty well against EMS Madara, but like I said, Rinnegan and Sage Mode Madara. Yeah, there's just too much that Madara has. I mean, if he was able to straight up blitz again Naruto, who had KCM2, and Sasuke, who already had EMS on itself, like he literally no diffed the two main characters and the second Hokage and the first Hokage
and all tail beasts
yeah, I'm like all within the span of like less than 10 minutes. So I'm like, I don't see what Kakashi's really gonna be able to do about something like that. So if you really want to compare Hokage Kakashi to all the 9 tailed beasts at the same time, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. So
gets a little tough.
Yeah,
I think we can move on to our main character, Naruto Uzumaki. I have I guess you could say a controversial opinion about Hokage Naruto, because I don't like to take statements that are made, at face value, because sure, Naruto's supposed to be the strongest Hokage ever, the strongest ninja ever, but when I read the Boruto manga or when I watch the Boruto anime, he looks very pathetic.
He really does. I talked to somebody about this the other day too. I feel as though Hokage Naruto should be a lot more powerful than he is, that he's shown on the screen. And so I that's part of the reason why I'm not fully invested into Boruto as much as I want to be, because I feel like I'm watching Naruto and I'm about to tear up sometimes. And not to that extent, obviously, but I don't know. The point is, I feel like he should be a lot stronger than what he's been portrayed as.
Because we can just take a look at a couple of things that happened during this. First, Shin Uchiha manages to slash him with a sword attack. Then we can also compare the sizes of the Divine Tree in the Naruto series and the Divine Tree in the fight against Momoshiki. And the Divine Tree that, Momoshiki was fighting at is so much smaller than the Divine Tree in Naruto. It's like the entire tree is the size of the height of the roots of the tree in Naruto series. And Boruto destroyed that tree, but back in Naruto actually destroyed the much bigger tree with a casual Rasen Shuriken, and Naruto's not doing anything nearly as powerful in Boruto. And also, even if you take the fight against Ishiki when he goes Brian mode, it looks very unimpressive. They're trading blows and nothing really major is happening to the environment around them. Take a look at Madara versus 8th Gate Sky, because there's a lot of collateral damage in that fight and there's nothing to be seen in that particular situation with Brian mode.
I guess you could maybe argue that Naruto's being very, I don't know, specific when it comes to his attack potency, because maybe he's just focusing all his attack pattern, all his attack potency towards Ishiki. I will say I feel like it's very that fight and the Momoshiki fight. I mean, if I really had to go off of just raw, how I believe it should be, then I still feel like Naruto takes most of the forms against Madara. I mean,
that's the thing. There's maybe Naruto should be much more powerful. It should be shown on page that he actually is that godlike shinobi, but then you watch it and even if Naruto was focusing his attack potency or whatever, there should be shockwaves around the entire battlefield whenever he punches somebody. It just feels lackluster. So what I like to do, I just like to imagine Naruto Shippuden at the end of the series, how Naruto was, and then I scale that up to a Hokage version of him kind of ignoring Boruto completely.
Honestly, I wouldn't blame you if you did that. I think I honestly subconsciously do that myself sometimes. Even in verse battle videos that I talk about Hokage Naruto, I think I often just try to think. I don't even honestly try to think of feats from Boruto. I kind of put my own hypothetical, Naruto as the Hokage and how I feel like he should be scaled, because realistically, he should be many more tiers above Madara. You know what I'm saying? Especially at this point when he's had 20 plus years to get stronger and to train, and so I would assume
I would probably say that a Rinnegan Sharingan Madara would be an interesting fight against him. But like you said, it's difficult to say, and if you want to take the story as an indicative, then yes, Naruto is probably the strongest being ever, except for the Otsutsuki gods.
So what do you think? Is there any versions of Madara that you think do beat Naruto?
If we take the Naruto that we see in the Boruto series, I think an EMS Madara takes him. His EMS Madara, or Edo Madara, he uses his perfect Susanoo, he unsheathes his sword, and he slashes through mountaintops miles away just from the sheer pressure of his sword. And then when you come to Naruto in the Boruto series, he's clashing against people like Ada, and when he uses his Rasengan, for example, he just creates a crater that's about the size of the crater Sasuke creates in the Bell test when he uses a fireball jutsu against Kakashi. So there's that.
Maybe like I guess maybe you could argue that like Naruto's not wanting to do some extensive damage to the environment.
Even when you take the Ishiki fight, then, which is in another dimension, Naruto can just go crazy because there's no danger of destroying the Leaf Village.
Yeah.
Nothing really happened. So I guess
the only thing else I could argue about that is maybe he just felt like if he went all out, like maybe Sasuke and Boruto would be in danger. Like I don't know. That's like the only thing.
Yeah.
I guess, well, another thing too is like, I think it may not make a whole lot of sense, but I feel as though Naruto was just like limiting his attack potency just to stall for time. Like I don't think he was really worried about doing as much damage. I guess it doesn't really make sense to say this, but maybe he wasn't worried about doing too much damage as more of like trying to stall for time for Kawaki.
Yeah, because it could like drain his life force whenever he used Brian mode and stuff.
Well, honestly,
But
didn't Kurama say something like it's not really like the level of the attacks, it's just the fact that you're attacking him is what's shortening his lifespan. So I think that was what Naruto was like.
But also the implication was that he got much, much faster because all of a sudden he was reacting to the rods that Ishiki threw against them, and they couldn't do that before.
Right.
But even still, it's just weird to think about Naruto and any character in Boruto for that matter, because
it's an anomaly.
There's a little bit of
really
an inconsistency there.
It really is, and so like, and that's why sometimes I even want to just like exclude Hokage Naruto. I don't mean to say that in a bad way. I just feel like I want to hype my boy up because I feel like he should be tiers and tiers above people like this Madara. You know what I'm saying? So, in my opinion, I still think I'm not saying the box stops with dual Rinnegan and Sharingan Madara, but like you said, I think that's the fight I think is the closest in terms of who beat who. And if I'm putting the version of Naruto in my head against this Madara, I think Naruto wins.
True. Yeah, I can see that.
So.
And, but if we take, for example, the version of Naruto that fought against Sasuke in the Valley of the End, I would say Madara takes it. And we've done videos about that in the past, so you guys can go check it out if you want to.
Which I agree. I mean, because I think at that point, Madara it's overwhelming, for Naruto 1v1, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, his best chance is to summon like a bunch of clones and have like all of them using Kurama avatar. And I don't know if he'd be able to pull like all like 1,000 shadow clones. I mean, maybe he could. I mean, it's possible, but I mean, that'd be his best bet, and even that's, I don't know.
We don't even know exactly what Rinnegan Sharingan Madara can do because he is taken out of the story before he fights, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess this is a large tangent for me to complain about Boruto once again.
I mean,
especially when it comes to Naruto and Sasuke, I don't like how they're treated in the Boruto series. Sorry.
I mean, no one can really blame you. I mean, because again, most people who are Naruto fans typically complain about how nerfed Naruto and Sasuke are. There are some people who feel like they aren't nerfed and that maybe the opponents are just that strong, which some of them, sure. But like, I feel like opponents like Delta shouldn't really be able to...
It doesn't feel like it, though.
Yeah,
it doesn't really feel like it. Even with the strongest ones, they kind of feel a little lackluster in terms of power.
Yeah, well, no shade on Delta, because I feel like she is a pretty tough opponent. But I remember watching or reading that fight, and I'm thinking, like, Naruto should have this fight wrapped up right now. Like, there's no reason why this fight... Like, and honestly, I wasn't even trying to be funny, like, when I was watching. I was just like, I was watching with a friend of mine. I'm like, bro, Naruto should have wrapped this fight up right now. Maybe, like, they're just trying to like draw for time, because I know like Naruto
or something like that.
Yeah, well, like because I know, let's be honest, Naruto had like that Kishimoto or like the animators have a habit of like prolonging an episode with meaningless content just for the sake of making it 30 minutes. So I feel like that was what they were doing, because I feel like Naruto should have had that fight wrapped up way quicker.
Yeah, but in the manga that also lasted for a while. The problem is like she is immune to ninjutsu and she was absorbing Naruto's Rasengans and stuff, but Naruto could use thousands of shadow clones and attack her from all sides.
Bro, Sage Mode Hokage Naruto should have that fight wrapped up. I mean,
I think base Hokage Naruto should have that fight wrapped up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like at the most, if he just needed to like restrict himself, like like you said, base. So I don't know. It's plus doesn't he have like a arm of Hashirama? Like so I mean I don't know. It's so weird sometimes. But
I guess, leave it in the comments below if you think Naruto is strong and Boruto if he feels strong, or if you think he should be a little bit more powerful than he apparently is.
Be genuine too, guys, because like, it's one of those things. Like, I'm actually kind of curious. I'm actually kind of curious as to see like other people's opinion, because I have seen mixed opinions about how I feel like how people feel like they aren't nerfed, and then people who feel like they are. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for the video. Thank you so much for coming again, Lightning Snow.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being on the channel.
And go subscribe to Lightning Snow, by the way. Link's going to be in the description below and also on screen here. Also, watch my other videos right here. There's a video here showing. Go watch that one. And thank you so much for coming, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.